Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Tennis Manager. We're on episode 19. Last time out, right at the end of the episode, we signed finally our third athlete. So we now have 3 tennis players in the group. If you haven't noticed, I'm sticking with the theme. I have female tennis players. I've been using female coaches. One primary reason with that, it's easier. It's easier to manage not having to pay attention to both the men's and women's game and the rankings that are going on within there, especially when I'm not using the real names, and so it's just easier to deal with that. Second reason is that I'm a supporter of women in sports. I do a lot of coaching. I coach volleyball, basketball, track. In all of those cases, 3 of the 4 teams that I coach are women's teams or girls teams, teenagers. I play co-ed soccer with my wife. Our last match a week ago, our last game, 4-4, final minute, and it was my wife who scored the game winner, and then it was me in the final seconds holding the ball in the corner. It's indoor, so no flag, but in the corner, keeping it away from the defense to kill the clock off to secure the win in a very tight contest. That was actually a lot of fun, and sadly my first game in 4 weeks because I've been gone out of town remodeling my parents' home every single weekend. Yeah, it had been a while. Well, anyway, got that out of the way. Now, as we go forward, we have an invite. Our new player, Ita, her very first tournament was a junior 1, so it was a low level, or actually that's junior 1 right there, so it was 300 level, and she won. So we were taking that week off for Kasanseva, so Kasanseva was not there. Ita won that tournament, and so that was good. She did that entirely on her own. But meanwhile, Anne is heading to a World Tour 1000, so a big tournament, the Indian Wells Open, and look who's getting an invite to said tournament as a qualifier, low level, but nice payout. She's going to the same tournament that Anne is, and we're going to go ahead and accept that invite because that's a pretty big tournament. Even if she gets knocked out in the first round, it's going to pay decently well, and we might as well. She can take the rest of that week off to recover anyway. Morale has been a bit of an issue for her. Let's go ahead and push forward. Just in the last 2 weeks or week from that signing point, I guess it's been a week and a half, we've already seen Kasanseva gain a couple more points in development. Now, that tournament is not immediate. It's not this week. It's at least a week away, but we are in Surprise, Arizona for a rookie 50 level tournament. This is the same level we competed in recently, and we've had a first round draw against the 6th seed. So we have not fared terribly well in the draws thus far at this level, but let's see if we can get out of the first round. 6-2, 6-2, we most certainly can get out of the first round. 31 winners, just 12 unforced errors. Second round is a slightly easier matchup for us, but you never know. You get a bunch of oddballs with varying levels outside of the rankings, depending on what their experience is, how often they go to tournaments, how they fare in those tournaments, what level of tournaments they're participating in, so on and so forth. There's so many variables in the outer part of the rankings where you could widely varying ability level. Like a Kasanseva, for example, who is much better than her ranking. Not that long ago, her ranking was outside of the top 1,000, and she's only done a few tournaments, and she's already brought that up by over 250. Next round is a win, 6-2, 6-0, 65% of points won in the match. That brings us into the quarterfinal, and there are literally 0 seeded players left, giving us a real shot at this one. We'll see what we can do. Karina Mueller is next. Close match, 6-2, losing a very, very tight second set where the tiebreakers nearly got us the match victory, but then we do go on to win in set 3, which was also fairly close at 6-4. 53% of total points won, 9 aces versus just 1 for the opponent. Double faults a bit too high, but 69 total winners, 38 unforced errors. The semis were against a qualifier, and we win 6-2, 6-4. That qualifier was actually a higher rank than what we were. It's a wild card opponent in the final, but ranked a good 300 spots above us. Could be a challenging one. We'll see how we fare. 6-3, 6-0, and we have a tournament win. World Tour level 50 for the rookie. So that's pretty dang solid. I want to say our 2 previous wins were rookie 10s. So I believe, though I could be wrong, it's been a couple weeks since I recorded those episodes, but I believe that is our first 50 level rookie tournament. Still just rookie. It's still small time, but It's a big step in the right direction. Meanwhile, Ita keeping up her winning ways, winning the title at the Junior 1 levels to the high-level junior tournament, which brings in a decent amount of cash for us. And meanwhile, she actually made more than Kasanseva did for winning the rookie 50 level tournament. So amazingly paid out even less. But combined between the two of them, that's over 6,000. So that's already putting us into profit for the month, and hooray, hooray. Back down to the junior ranks for our next tournament. It's a junior 500 level, so this is the highest that we're going to get besides those Grand Slams. Actually, I think there's 1 or 2 1,000 levels throughout the year, but only a couple. So besides those, these are the big tournaments. So we've gone ahead and ventured down because there's a lot of points on offer, and we're trying to keep our rank fairly high, if not number 1. We want to stay in the top 4 or 5 anyway, so we've got to partake in these larger tournaments. We enter obviously as the 1 seed, still holding on to that number 1 rank. Ita is here as well. She's got the 3 seed, currently ranked 8th in the junior rankings, bit lower than where she was, but with a couple wins here recently, and if she fares well today, we could definitely see her move back up a little bit. Nearly going out in the second round, losing the opening set, but fighting back and playing well in the following 2 sets, gets Kasanseva on to the 3rd round. Ita, meanwhile, has been knocked out. Quarterfinal against Adrieva, who we've gone up against quite a few times. 6-1, 6-4 on this one. 32 winners to her 12. You could definitely see that Kasanseva technically has a real edge over a lot of the junior level players, which is why outside of, Goff, she's been able to pretty much dominate the competition. Goff will have aged out now, giving us a real shot at winning the junior finals this year. Another close matchup in the semis. Kuno wins the opening set through a tiebreaker, but then we comfortably go through sets 2 and 3, each winning 6-1. 51 total winners, 22 unforced errors. Opponent not much, actually a little worse, 38 and 24, and also just 3-7. That's where we had the edge. Final won't be an easy one. It's Rachel Gallus, ranked 10th. Seed was 5. Havpakova has moved up in the rankings quite a bit. Lucy Havpakova. We'll have to keep an eye out for her. She got knocked out in the semis. 5 out of 6 matches against Gallus have gone the right way, but she's got pretty good records, and you can see she's been very busy since the start of the year, only 1 week off. 6-3, 6-4, that is a tournament victory, and a big one that'll really help us maintain our position at the top of the rankings. 46-18 on the winners. All right, so we've made it to that big tournament, but they've put us in qualifiers. I didn't know that they were going to put us into qualifiers, but there's 2 rounds of qualifiers. It looks like if you win that second round, you're in. So quite a few will make it through that qualifying. Payout's big, but I have no idea what it would be at this point in the qualifiers. Probably not that much. And it looks like we've got a really, really hard path to make it into the tournament proper, because we have somebody who is ranked at 130 in this round, and then the potential 1 seed of the qualifiers in the second round. And either way, even if, Jaitic gets through, that's going to be difficult as well. So all 3 potential opponents through these 2 rounds are going to be incredibly challenging. Meanwhile, after our success a couple of weeks ago, we've jumped into the top 500 in the rankings. We're definitely coming along, but I'm not sure if this one is going to go our way. Wow. Squeezing through this first qualifying round. 7-5, 6-4. Save does have a bit of quality. We're not just a 400 rank, which we now are, into that 400 rank. It looks like we are a bit higher, but I don't know if today was a fluke. We'll see with that next one. Total winners, still a slight advantage. Not as many unforced errors as she is notorious for making, and that's, I think, what got her through. Second qualifier is against that 1 seed ranked at 99th, so just inside the top 100. The only one, because there's the 2 seed right there. Difficult ask. I'm not sure we're going to be good enough to get ahead of Feng Shu. Holy cow, we've done it. 6-3, 6-2. We have qualified for the tournament proper. Real surprise there. Real surprise that she has played as well as she had, because right now she's definitely not on Anne's level. She's now into the same tournament that Ita with the junior 300 level tournament victory. So she's claimed yet another one that's really helping her with her rankings. We're going to take a second to check out those rankings. Meanwhile, Kasanseva Anticipation now at level 10. Ita, meanwhile, after her tournament victory, sees a big jump in her mental attributes. Her killer instinct going +2 levels, her confidence +1 level, and her fighting spirit +1. And she's approaching a stable level in that department. That's something that Kasanseva does not quite have right now. Taking a look at the rankings, starting at the junior level, Ita into the top 10. She's 8th, 1,980 points. You can see she's done a lot of tournaments. Nokiava looks to be probably falling off. She'll drop in ranking as she's only played 7, so she hasn't had as many tournaments over the last year. You can see a number of 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds. The first 16-year-old to even come along in the rankings is way down in 15th. That's going to give Kasanseva a bit of an edge as she's surrounded by a lot of players that are aging out. None of them seem to be playing a ton of tournaments. Brantmeyer, Kunye seem to be the two that are, but we've played both of them quite a few times, and while they're decent, they're not that great, and so they're not getting that deep into the tournaments, and therefore I'm foreseeing a real opportunity with a 1,500 point advantage right now over Frifritova, who we haven't even seen once yet this season in any of those big junior tournaments. I'm seeing a real opportunity to hang on to that number 1 ranking possibly throughout the year. Osaka absolutely dominating the rankings, twice that of the 3rd ranked player in terms of points accumulated. Real edge there. Now in terms of youth, Corey Goff is dominating. She's now up to 37th in the World Tour rankings at 18. We can and maybe will continue to try to get her signed. Nokiava, this is why we're not seeing her at the junior level, as she's almost entirely at the senior level. Montgomery, same situation. There's Katrina Scout, also inside the top 200. Those targets that we've had in terms of scouting and trying to sign, but have been a bit out of our reach. Here they are topping the under 18 in terms of World Tour rankings. But there is Kasanseva, who has jumped so much in the rankings here lately. Remember, she was outside of 1,000 when we signed her in the fall. It's only March. Meanwhile, our new signee, Elena Ita, also, even though we haven't done any tournaments with her in the 2 months since we signed her, or a month and a half since we signed her, and she hasn't done any World Tour level tournaments, but she's still got an okay ranking, and we can definitely see her pick it up. So Kasanseva now on 83 points after participating in 6 tournaments. With our new approach to getting a lot of World Tour level tournaments in, Kasanseva is actually in a decent position right now to make the next gen finals. This is like your under 21s category, so not just the under 18s, but extended to the under 21s. She's in the top 10. So she's got a real shot at making the finals for that one. I don't know if it's only 8 for that tournament or if it's 16 for that tournament, but it's definitely going to be a pretty small number in order to qualify for that one. And in the junior finals, this is where we can see the vulnerability of Kasanseva. She's doing fewer tournaments, therefore she's accumulating fewer points. She's only had a small amount of gains. Couple players have scored more points than her because they've played multiple tournaments more, but Kasanseva is still well inside the top 8 quite comfortably for that, and Ita just on the edge. She's also not playing as many tournaments as those above her in the ranking besides Kasanseva. She's got some work to do, but she's done well when she's been in those tournaments, but it's pretty competitive, you gotta say, in that top 12 or so, with only 8 slots available for the finals. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one throughout the season to see how we do. But the next gen finals seems to be a real possibility for Kasanseva. Will she qualify for a chance to get after that junior final? We'll see. And we're on to that senior level tournament, the Indian Wells Open, biggest tournament that Kasanseva has been in. She had to get through those 2 qualifying rounds to make it, and she made it to the same round as Anne. Regardless of how she does here, she will do no worse because Anne, with the upset, is knocked out in the round of 128, and her poor performances of late continue. Incredibly difficult tasks to go any further, though. Kachanik in the first round here, ranked at 71st, so we are going to come into this one as heavy underdogs. And then if we somehow get through, we have Joanna Koda, who we've played against as Anne in the past. 13 seed, potentially in the round of 64. Big ask. And we are knocked out in that first round against Kachanik, 2-6-0-6. Yeah, we definitely still have some development to go. Only 17 winners this time, 14 unforced errors. Clearly inferior as a player comparatively. But we qualified. We made it just as far as Anne. That's a good step. In comparison, we could see just how important it is, the contracts that we have. Anne, getting knocked out in the round of 128, earns 2,399 because we only get 16%. But because we have such a higher cut for Kasanseva at 59%, for getting to the same round in the same tournament, round of 128, 8,849, already making the month profitable by a good margin. That's what I like to see. That's the kind of contract we need going forward. Of course, Kasanseva getting this deep had to play well, and getting this deep played poorly. On average, you'd still suspect Anne is going to earn a whole lot more money, and honestly, she has, of course, especially when we include the sponsorship contracts that she has earned for us. That's been a lot of money. Her not performing well in a tournament isn't that big of a deal, but she's going to have to win a few matches here and there if we're going to start to see her retain those sponsorship contracts and retain the ability to keep her on the squad. If she performs well, she's going to be more willing to stay. If she performs poorly, she's going to be looking for a new opportunity. Quick comparison on development. You could see Anne with some weaker trainers past her bloom phase, where she's developing quite slowly these days. You can see an average, not even 0.5% over just 3 categories upgrading, meaning it's going to take her forever to get any sort of development. She kind of is what she is as a player, even though she's nowhere near her cap. Kasanseva, meanwhile, you can see 11% for anticipation, 7% almost for balance. Less than 1% showing on positioning, but that's because she leveled up. Now pushing that to level 10, so she's gotten that one out of single digits. Ita, for comparison, she is a late bloomer, but you can see in her youth she's still developing quite well comparatively when we consider how she is compared to Anne. Kasanseva, yeah, nowhere near her level of development right now, but still good development. So you can see almost 10% gained in speed. It's only an 8, so she's got a ways to go. But the drop shot, the anticipation, all going up fairly well. And it's time to schedule our clay season beginning on week 14. Notably, I have 2 senior level tournaments, rookie 50s, in weeks 12 and 13 back-to-back. So we do need to try to give ourselves a break. We start with the junior level tournaments as we figure out which ones are important to be a part of. Now, 14 is one that I might take because it's a junior one, but no, we need a break for Kasanseva because she constantly has the morale issues. So we'll bypass week 14. Week 15, small tournament. 16. Okay, 17 might be a go because we haven't done anything for her for a while. So that might be a good one to get into. So 17. Nothing again for a while. We might have 20. No. We'll skip 20. Go straight to 21. And there's the Grand Slam 2 weeks later. 23, French Open, junior version. And that's the end of the junior. Yeah, before you head into the grass season in week 24. So we have nothing for 22, 23, 21 because that's all junior stuff with 1 week off in between. We could maybe do a 20 or maybe just 19, leave off 18 and 20. So week 19, senior level, and week 15. So 15 and 19 are what we're looking to fill. All right, here is 19. We definitely don't want to get into the bigger tournaments, but we've got some 80s. I don't know if we want to do an 80. I don't. Bigger tournament. What's the payout for these? 6,000 is all. It's not about the payout. I think we still belong in the 50s. We've won one, but we're definitely not winning them all. So let's find a 50 to be in. Okay, week 15. I'm going to go ahead and see what happened. Or do we want to go at home to Pelham, Alabama? There you go. 2 senior level tournaments is all for the clay season. But there's really only a few, 3 or 4 junior tournaments that we're going to be in? 3, I believe. So I think we're only playing 5 tournaments. It's a shorter season. All right, so I've taken Ita off of automatic registrations. So we're going to try to get her scheduled for the clay season here. And we want to get her into all of the big junior tournaments because she needs the points to try to qualify for the final. Try to work her way up the rankings a little bit. And we're not as worried about being in the senior level tournaments for her this season, though if I can, I'll try to get her into 1 anyway. All right, 4 straight weeks. We definitely need to give her week 19 off. 18's a possibility, and we have a 2-week stretch here, 15 or 16. I'm going to give her 2 weeks off with 18-19 so she can recover for her long stretch. And I'm going to schedule her for a senior level tournament for week 16. We'll stick her in a rookie 10. Like I said, Ita might not be developing at the rate Kasunseva is right now, but she's definitely developing. Agility and volley both going +1 this week, though she was very close to leveling those up anyway. And meanwhile, Kasunseva also seeing a good jump, speed, agility, and backhand power all going +1. Everybody drops in the rankings slightly after taking a week to do some training, but Kasunseva, or Anne, now down to 47th. What a drop. I mean, that's a huge drop in ranking from where she was, and that's getting closer, I think, to where she first started with us. So it's really been a while since she has performed well, or in any way that we would expect her to. A lot of poor performances, but Kasunseva has jumped all the way to 444th from outside of the top 1,000 just a handful of months ago, and Ita not doing any senior level tournaments. We'll continue to train at the academy this week, but we're going to have some busy times for Anne and Kasunseva. Anne knocked out in the first round in Miami, continues to lose her way. And Kasunseva seeded. We haven't seen that at the senior level. 7th seed. She's moving on up. Rookie 50. Let's see what she can do. Nice flag for New Caledonia. I know of New Caledonia. I've never seen their flag before. I like it. And we're straight to the semifinal, and I like our chances of winning this tournament. We have the advantage in seeding against qualifier here in the semis. Our potential final matchup is also to our advantage. And this one is the final, but it was close. But we do come out on top. 6-2, 6-7, 6-3, 54% of points won. Aces versus double faults was not good, but the total winners was a definite advantage, though the opponent did have her fair share of winners in this one. Unforced errors kept it down a little bit anyway, with 22 to 27. So slight advantage in both the winners and unforced errors. Sees us win this Rookie 50 tournament, and I'm wondering if Kasunseva is in fact ready to start playing that next tier. As we approach the end of March, the first third of the year behind us, and out of the top 50 in the rankings for the first time, Kasunseva jumps into the top 300 and then wins the tournament, and her morale drops yet again. That girl just has some serious mental things she needs to overcome. But we are seeing development both in Ita and Kasunseva in those areas. So hopefully that natural development will help her out, because right now it's a mess trying to deal with her ridiculous morale issues. Ita, meanwhile, still hasn't played at that senior level, so not picking up anything there. But we do have her coming up this next week in her first senior level tournament, just a rookie 10. Meanwhile, Kasunseva, another rookie 50, a follow-up straight to the one that she was just in this past week. And then Anne going to take a week off, and hopefully, I don't know what's going on with Anne. She has been so poor. Anyway, that is going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.